Hi everybody, I'm back with another Mars Anomalies video. This is going to be a longer one, longer than usual. I hope that you don't find it too technical. I'll try not to go into too much technical detail, but there are certain trends that I need to establish and show you guys. I call this the God of War. We know that Mars is the Roman God of War. And the video, the Martian War Chronicles, I'll be going through chronological order over here, and then we're going to look at what I think is a vast industrial complex. In this video, we're going to be checking out these massive plumes that have been detected in the Martian atmosphere, and we don't hear much about these, and also researchers don't cover this subject matter in as much detail as I would have liked to see. So some of it might be a bit technical, but let's get going. This all starts in 1941, 27th of August, 1941 to be exact. Mr. Clyde Tombaugh, who discovered Pluto in 1930, reports seeing a flash on the surface of the planet Mars and ascribes the flash to an explosion of some sort. This is a letter from Captain R. McLaughlin to Dr. James Van Allen detailing UFO sightings at White Sands Missile Proving Grounds. And this is the original. We'll be reading this part of the text. All of this, of course, has been very interesting to me, and I've done a little research along the lines of finding out who, why, where, and what. My first assumption led me to the conclusion that the object must have some means of accelerating itself. The second assumption, naturally, is that no one on this planet is sufficiently far advanced to fly such an object. The next best bet seems to be the planet Mars. By some strange quirk of fate, the planet Mars was close to the Earth on July 16 when the first atomic bomb was exploded in the New Mexico desert. As a matter of fact, the bomb must have made the whole side of the globe light up like a neon sign, according to Clyde Tombaugh. Incidentally, Mr. Tombaugh is the discoverer of the planet Pluto and is a pretty sharp person. His speciality in astronomy has been observing the planet Mars for a period of about 15 years. On August 27, 1941, Mr. Tombaugh saw a flash on the surface of the planet Mars and now ascribes this flash to an atomic explosion of some sort. May the 17th, 1997, Hubble photograph reveals an abnormally high plume similar to those that would be spotted by the amateur astronomers in 2012. And this is from an article posted to Space Science, and we'll be reading this part of the text over here. To quote, however, checking archived Hubble Space Telescope images taken between 1995 and 1999 and of databases of amateur images spanning 2001 to 2014 revealed occasional clouds at the limb of Mars, albeit usually only up to 100 kilometers in altitude. But one set of Hubble images from 17th of May 1997 revealed an abnormally high plume, similar to that spotted by the amateurs in 2012. The jury is still out on the nature and genesis of the curious high-altitude Martian plumes. Further insights should be possible following the arrival of ESA's ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter at the Red Planet, scheduled for launch in 2016. There's a shot of the huge plume that was photographed by the Hubble telescope. Then we're going over to March and April of 2012. Amateur astronomers report definite plume-like features developing on the planet. There's a close-up of the huge plumes that were spotted by the astronomers in March and April. And this is from Astronomy Picture of the Day. Explanation. What is creating unusual plumes on Mars? No one is sure. Noted and confirmed by a global contingent of amateur astronomers on photos of the red planet in March 2012. Possibly similar plumes have now been found on archived images as far back as 1997. Since the plumes reached 200 kilometers up, they seem too high to be related to wind-blown surface dust. Since one plume lasted for 11 days, it seemed too long-lasting to be related to aurora. So these phenomena remain unexplained. Here's an article posted to Sky and Telescope, and to quote from it, a paper published February the 16th in Nature Chronicles, an unusual cloud seen for several weeks at sunrise on Mars. Beginning on March 12, 2012, amateur planetary photographers reported the small protrusion along the morning terminator line in the Martian southern hemisphere within the Terra Chimera region. And let's just see, the feature became more prominent over the following days, varying in size and shape each day, and remained through much of April 2012. And to continue, this plume was not detected by the MARCI instrument aboard the MRO orbiter, which records the planet's surface and thin atmosphere in imaging strips much later in the Martian day, when the feature is not visible. In fact, observations were reported exclusively from amateur observers using telescopes of 8 to 16 inch in aperture and high-speed video cameras from 11 consecutive days from March the 12th to the 23rd, and also from April the 6th to the 16th. In all, 18 individual images detected the repeating cloud. This latter estimate is what has caught so many researchers' attention. Clouds should not exist this high in Mars's atmosphere. Clouds and dust aerosols are all over the place, up to about 50 kilometers, with water vapor clouds being especially prominent when Mars is farthest from the Sun, as it was during these 2012 observations. Above about 120 kilometers from the surface, physical conditions in the atmosphere simply shouldn't allow dust or ice aerosols to exist. The authors acknowledge the surprising altitude and suggest that either water or CO2 ice clouds, or possibly even auroral activity, could be responsible for these transient phenomena. The area of this event is known to have strong magnetic anomaly and ancient magnetic field frozen in the crust that has previously spawned aurora at about 130 kilometers up. Yet, given the brightness of this plume, the aurora would be 1,000 times more intense than any seen on Earth to be visible in amateur instruments. Published to Nature, an extremely high altitude plume seen at Mars's morning terminator. And we'll be reading this part. We used photometric measurements to explore two possible scenarios and investigate their nature. For particles reflecting solar radiation, clouds of CO2 ice or H2O, particles with an effective radius of 0.1 micrometers are favored over dust. Alternatively, the plume could arise from auroral emission of a brightness more than 1,000 times that of the Earth's aurora over a region with a strong magnetic anomaly where aurora have previously been detected. Importantly, both explanations defy our current understanding of Mars's upper atmosphere. Then we're going over to September 13, 2018. ESA's Mars Express orbiter photographs an elongated cloud on Mars just to the west of Arcea Mons, which extends 1,500 kilometers westward. And this is from the ESA's page, elongated cloud on Mars. And to quote from it, since 13 September 2018, the Visual Monitoring Camera, or VMC, on board ESA's Mars Express has been observing the evolution of a curious cloud formation that appears regularly in the vicinity of the 20-kilometer high Arcea Mons volcano, close to the planet's equator. The cloud can be seen in this VMC image taken 10 October as the white elongated feature extending 1,500 kilometers westward of the volcano. Close-up reveals it definitely has an origin point, the Martian wind blowing the cloud or plume to the west, thinning out as it goes along. However, this plume or cloud persisted here for weeks on end, and no other clouds on Mars, as far as I know, have done that in the past. And it always shows this very strong origin point. Some of us speculate it could indicate volcanic activity, steam venting into the atmosphere, and even highly speculative, maybe some type of terraforming technology. Who knows for sure? 2011, Dr. John E. Brandenburg, a plasma physicist, reveals data from the gamma-ray spectrometer on board the 2001 Mars Odyssey orbiter shows an elevated ratio of 129 xenon to a 132 xenon in the atmosphere of Mars, which could only be explained as the after-signature of weapons-grade nuclear explosions. He suggests that the massive explosions occurred in Mare Acidilium and Utopia Planum at approximately 50 degrees north, near Galaxis Chaos. This is the paper he published, evidence of a massive thermonuclear explosion on Mars in the past, the Sidonian hypothesis, and the Fermi paradox. And this is very technical in nature, so I'm not going to read that. We'll have a look at the graphs, which will say it all. There's the spike in xenon 129 on Mars, and then the blue spike over there as found on Earth. Mars xenon is found to match closely the component in the Earth's atmosphere produced by Earth's nuclear weapons programs, both hydrogen bomb testing and plutonium production, both of which involve large amounts of fission with fast neutrons. So check that out. Intriguing evidence. There's the other graph, and also a huge spike in xenon 129 as found on Earth and Mars. And the area of the two explosions indicated there by those two red dots, the one near Sidonia Mensa and the other one Galaxis Chaos. And this is also a region of Mars which has been studied numerous times by NASA with the probes and orbiters. No large crater is apparent at either radiation center. The amount of energy release would have to be large to produce a global debris pattern, and given its fast neutron spectrum, it would have to occur rapidly. So we've seen the utter devastation as seen in photographs taken by the orbiters and the rovers. The only plausible and natural explanation for such a radioactive debris pattern, natural nuclear reactors, perhaps breeding U-233 of thorium. occurring in all bodies beneath the surface and then explosively disassembled would have created large craters. No large craters are found in either center of radiation. This means the fission events have to have occurred as explosions in midair, just like those that we conducted in Earth's atmosphere. Very scary. Then we're looking at August 2019. SpaceX's Elon Musk proposes nuking Mars to terraform the surface. Published to express.co.uk, Mars shock: Elon Musk's very unrealistic plan to nuke Mars is dismantled by an expert. And there we go. SpaceX's CEO Elon Musk wants to warm the red planet's atmosphere by dropping nuclear bombs on Mars's icy poles. The South African billionaire believes doing so unlocks frozen carbon dioxide into Mars's paper-thin atmosphere to trigger a greenhouse effect. Dr. Sliwa, I think that's right, Dr. Sliwa, head of Copernicus Science Center Planetarium in Warsaw, Poland, questioned the science behind the plan. It's a concept. Unfortunately, you have to admit it's not a very realistic one for a very prosaic reason. That is because there's simply too little carbon dioxide in the Martian polar caps, according to estimates by scientists working on Mars. So yeah, we've got multiple plumes and, I don't know, explosions. Then September 2019, InSight lander detects pulsations in the Martian magnetic field that happen at local midnight and, in quotes, as if responding to the demands of an unseen nocturnal timer. Interesting sentence that. We'll check it out. This is an article published over at National Geographic, Mysterious Magnetic Pulses Discovered on Mars. Brian, who is familiar with the InSight data, says that the strong, stable magnetic signal is coming from rocks near InSight, but whether they are deep underground or nearer to the surface is currently unclear. That identification matters, Byron says, because if it's coming from younger rocks near the surface, it would imply that a stronger magnetic field persisted around Mars for longer than we currently think. What's strange is that these Martian wobbles happen at local midnight, as if responding to the demands of an unseen nocturnal timer. I wonder if there's some type of technology, maybe some industrial plant or complex that starts up its machinery and causes these huge magnetic wobbles, who knows? And this is from Universe Today, and we'll be reading this part here. Mars has magnetized rocks in its crust that create localized patchy magnetic fields. And this illustration to the right shows fields extending into space above the rocks. This is also a very, very weird phenomena. I wonder if there isn't something of some technological nature under the surface of Mars that causes these massive localized magnetic fields. Maybe it's natural. Here's something very strange that I found on Mars a while ago. These weird grid-like structures that look almost like industrial plants or complexes with massive pipes spanning 20 meters across. And also we have rectilinear patterns all over in these designs. So the first photograph we're analyzing is called Possible MSL Landing Site Near Atlantis Chaos, acquired on the 1st of May 2009. And we're looking at 51 centimeters per pixel, and images cropped from the JP2 black and white map projected file. There's a crop from the black and white low-res JPEG, and we're looking at the bright highlighted regions in this photograph. Located 34.64 degrees south, 183.51 degrees east in this part of Atlantis chaos. And then there's two other sites we'll have a look at as well within this region. The first region of the photograph shows these strange rectangular patterns. You've got parallel lines, 90-degree angles, and I'd say the distance between these pipes is about, on the average, 30 meters and about 20 meters wide. So let's have a look at that close up, and here's a good example over here. Looks like a pipe extending across the surface there, leaving a shadow underneath it. We've got intersecting pipes at right angles. I'll call them pipes for lack of a better term. I don't know what we're looking at here. Maybe even a structure like walls maybe. But this grid looks rather strange. Have a look at this over here too. Looks almost like roads of cities on Earth photographed from space. But close up we can see these look more like pipes or like partitions. The shadow being cast there. The distance between that is about 20 to 30 meters and about 10 to 15 meters wide. 45-degree angles over there. Got that one running diagonally across there, and that one running diagonally over there. So it's like a square structure over there. There's even more. And we're checking out this region over here. And this shows a very good example of these grid-like structures. Got straight lines, 90-degree angles, definite shadows being cast. And what could these be? Walls or pipes? Definitely doesn't look like fractured rock or a dried out lake bed that's cracked up. These structures definitely are above the surface, and they do cast a shadow. I'd say these things are about 2 meters wide. These long, thin structures. Check this out. Another prime example. Now we're looking at this region. And again, the distance from there to there is about 20 meters and about 10 to 15 meters wide. Got these straight lines coming through there, almost parallel over here. 45-degree angle to this one. Check out the way these structures seem to pass over one another. Get this as well. Very bright area. Here we're looking at this region to the right, and again about 10 to 15 meters across, 15 to 20 meters long between the right angles over there. Got an intersecting piece coming in over here from the left. Then we've got 45-degree angles over there. And then something rather odd going on in this part of the photograph. The way the structures branch out, almost like a spider's web. That there as well. Could this be some type of mining activity? And then down here, lots of triangles in this design. The way the structures pan out from the center of this triangle. Next photograph, iron and magnesium clays in and near Atlantis Chaos, acquired on the 24th of August 2010 at 51.4 centimeters per pixel. And there's a crop from the low-res black and white map projected file, located not too far from the first site, 33.77 degrees south, 183.77 degrees east. Over there in that region of Mars. Now we've got more of these strange rectangular designs, and we're looking at this part of the photograph there, and the distance between these is about 10 meters. Got parallel lines, right angles, and also these structures appear to be on top of the surface, casting shadows. Look at the way this line runs through here, and a little triangular feature over there. Looks almost as if this part of this ridge was carved away, and there we've got straight edges, a right angle. Okay, this rectangular feature, each side is about 20 meters long. Look at that right angle over there. Wonder if that's some type of opening perhaps. Got that line running through there. I wonder if this could possibly be an opening. Look at that ridge line running through there. Seems to extend underneath, come out on that side over here. More of these rectangular patterns in the ground, and also we're looking at about 20 to 15 meters between them. We've got right angles again, parallel lines, some symmetry. Look at the spacing between them, like all the others. Almost the same distance between these lines on top of the surface. Another one of these triangular features, 20 by 20 meters. Zoom up close, check at the straight edges to these two. Looks almost as if this could be an opening as well as there. Wonder what's going on there. Could that be some type of ventilation system, wind traps, maybe even underground entranceways to a hangar of sorts? Yeah, we're looking at a very odd anomaly. It looks almost like some type of centipede or insect, but not that it is, guys and girls. It just looks rather weird, like this body with lots of legs to it. And I'd say it's about 40 meters long. I wonder what these smaller features are to the bottom over here. These look almost like gills. Then we're analyzing ridges and light-toned outcrops north of Atlantis Chaos, 51.3 centimeters per pixel. There's a look at the area in context from the black and white map projected low-res JPEG, and the area we're looking at is located there. And at the time of this video, an equivalent high-rise photograph had not been loaded to Google Mars yet. So yeah, we're looking at more of these strange sort of gills or triangular structures. Let's see, that's about 30 meters across from there to there. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. Look at the symmetry and geometry over here. Parallel lines again. These look like openings. Again, maybe some type of ventilation system. Or maybe just rather weird dunes. But nothing else like it in this entire photograph. Very, very artificial looking. So there these three anomalies are side by side. Get the high strangeness in these three anomalies. Okay, yeah, we're looking at more of these straight lines, look like piping, maybe even walls. And the distance from there to there, that's about 20 meters. From there to there, about 30. A line running through there. Let's have a close-up look. And also, by the way, we're looking at a rather strange circular feature there. That's about 20 meters across. And in its center, we've got like a sphere or dome measuring about 5 to 10 meters. Right in its center. This looks like a type of a transit hub. Get the 45-degree angles over here. And a rather strange S-bend anomaly there. Okay, so let's see. This line from there to there, that's about 50 meters long. This piece over here. Let's zoom up close. Check this strange circular part over here. We've got these 45-degree angles to the design over here. Wow, don't know what's going on there, guys and girls. It's like this is the center of some type of transit hub with these parts coming off at 45-degree angles going outwards. Also, yeah, weird. These are a little more pronounced. Also about 20 by 15 meters. And we're looking at this region over there. At the parallel lines once again. 90-degree angles. We've got symmetry and geometry. Look at the similar size and spacing between these. And they're definitely on top of the surface casting shadows. So these aren't like cracks or something like that in the rock. And they're very straight. They don't follow the curvature of the surface underneath. Definitely look like structures on top of the surface. There's another 45-degree angle there, or 33 degrees. As always, I'll include the links to the reference material in the video description below. That's it for the God of War, the Martian War Chronicles. Do let me know in the comments below what you guys and girls make of these strange anomalies in the Martian atmosphere, as well as the grid-like structures that are found in Atlantis chaos. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.